Mayor, you ready? Okay. Hardy, you ready? Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order tonight. Thank you guys so much. I'd like to lead us in our invocation, and right from our invocation, we'll go into the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Let us pray. Gracious and Heavenly Father, thank you so much for loving us. We ask that you bless these proceedings and bless these men and women who've been charged to lead our city. Give us wisdom and understanding to give us better decision-making processes in your sight, Lord. We also ask that you just be with our communities right now. I know we're facing somewhat of a crisis in our virus that has kind of hit some of our communities, but we know locally your hand's always involved and your plan's going to be true and perfect. So we ask that you give us some more wisdom in regarding to help mitigate our community's health and work through our doctors, of course, our elected officials here. These things we ask. Amen. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. McCullum, call roll, please.
Councilman Roberts.
Here.
President Logan.
Here.
Councilman Hinton.
Here.
Councilman Davis.
Here.
And Councilman Hogg.
Here.
In the interest of time, of course, Mayor Aaron, I think we had some presentation that they've been removed from the agenda. Is that right, Ms. Aaron?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 5 is approval of our agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as printed?
Motion to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Hogg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Item 6, visitors to address our city council. These are citizens who have formally emailed the proper protocols and have signed to speak. Our only citizen is Mr. Bobby Herndon.
Thank you. Mayor, council, judge, I appreciate y'all letting me speak. I just got a concern I want to address, and y'all can straighten me out on it. A while back I heard from some fire department friends of mine in Tuscaloosa that Northport was considering getting rid of our ladder fire truck and contracting Tuscaloosa to do our ladder calls. And I'm hoping that that's not the case. I wanted to, ask you guys directly, because it would be something like that, in my opinion, would be one of the most anti-Northport things that you could ever do.
Well, Bobby, I'll go ahead and speak on record that I haven't heard anything about that at all. So.
Okay.
I hadn't either, Bobby.
Okay.
I know, I think we were serving when we decided to purchase that piece of equipment. And
Well, I just wanted some clarification, because I know it would, as far as marketing our city, it's a big plus. As far as providing equipment to our firefighters, it's a big plus. And
From our retail committee, it's a plus. So.
Well, I just, like I said, I just want some clarification, because that, to me, that would be, I know councils in the past for Northport have made some bad decisions, and I would hate for that to come up before our council and it be voted on. But I just wanted to express that. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Bobby. Seven A1, unfinished business, is a second reading of an ordinance ordering the demolition of an unsafe structure located at 4501 Lakeshore Drive. Ms. Ram, again, this is a second reading, and this requires a public hearing, correct?
Yes, sir, it does.
All right. That being said, I'll open the floor for a public hearing regarding this agenda item, 4501 Lakeshore Drive. It's an ordering the demolition of an unsafe structure. Is anyone here willing to speak in regards to this item on the agenda? All right. I hereby close the floor for a public hearing. Is there a motion to offer for that second reading, ordering the demolition for that unsafe structure located at 4501 Lakeshore Drive? That's a motion by Councilman Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
New business, 8A1 is a first reading of an ordinance ordering the demolition of an unsafe structure at 1317 20th Avenue. Ms. Ram.
Yes, sir. The building inspectors have found this structure located at 1317 20th Avenue as unsafe and is dangerous to the public health, and they are recommending the structure be demolished. All necessary procedures have been followed, and this is just for a first reading.
Thank you. Is there a member of council wanting to offer this for a first reading?
I'll offer it.
That's offered up by Councilman Hinton. Second item is a first reading of an ordinance for conditional use of master development approval for 2.57 acres located at the corner of Main Avenue and 27th Street. Ms. Ram.
Yes, sir. This request comes from Mr. Hal Corbin. He is asking for a conditional use and master development approval, and that is to allow multifamily in a C3 zoning. The total acreage is 2.57 acres. It is located at the corner of Main Avenue and 27th Street.
Thank you. Is there a member of council wanting to offer this up for a first reading?
I'll offer it up, and I would like to, just to make a note, Chief, this is another area by one of the schools, like we're talking about Sprayberry. Part of the discussion that happened in planning and zoning is maybe permanently doing some things too to help that in that particular area as well. That one will be number 2 on your list.
And that does come with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Again, that was offered up by Councilman Roberts, also with the statement for traffic control moving past the actual proposed development location area. Item 3, first reading of an ordinance conditional use to allow an office warehouse addition in a C6 highway commercial zone. Ms. Ram.
Yes, sir. This request comes from 1871 LLC. They are asking for conditional use approval to allow a warehouse addition in a C6 highway commercial zone. The proposed addition will add approximately 6,000 square feet to the former Northwest Supply Building. This elevation drawings are a part of that presentation to the council, and this does come with a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Thank you, Ms. Ram. Is there a member of council wanting to offer this up for a first reading?
I'll offer that up.
It's offered up by Councilman Hogg.
Davis.
I'm sorry, Councilman Davis. Excuse me. Offered up by Councilman Davis. 8B1 is a resolution authorizing our city administrator's office to renew a maintenance agreement and support contract in the amount of $17,447.70 with Alien Vault Company. Again, Mr. Murphy, this is more of a support and maintenance agreement regarding some of our usage with Alien Vault Company, correct?
Yes, sir. This is our intrusion detection software.
Thank you. Is there a member of council wanting to offer this up for a motion?
I'll offer it.
That's motioned up by Councilman Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Here. Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Second item is a resolution awarding bid file 20-02 Buckhead Drainage Rights of Way Cleanup. Ms. Starnes.
Yes, sir. Public Works received bids for a 36-month period for the Buckhead Drainage Way. We had 2 bidders. Red Oak was the lowest bidder.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution awarding the bid file 20-02 for the Buckhead Drainage Rights of Way Cleanup to Red Oak Outdoor Services? and authorizing our administrator's office to approve any PO requisitions using prices from said bid file.
I'll make that motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Hogg. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Roberts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Third item is a resolution awarding bid file 20-03, Williamson Cemetery Grounds Maintenance. Ms. Starnes.
Yes, sir. Public Works received bids for the Williamson grounds maintenance. We received 3 bids. HUDCO was the lowest bidder, meeting all requirements.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Make the motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Hinton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 4 is a resolution authorizing city administrator to enter into an agreement with Fitz Architects for design services for new roof for the Northport Public Safety Building. Ms. Starnes.
Yes, sir. This is not to exceed $5,000. Fitz Architects is going to provide the design and bid documents for the membrane roof system at PD.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
That's a motion by Councilman Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hinton. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item 5 is a resolution authorizing our city administrator to enter into an agreement with TTL Incorporated for the completion of paving services for Northwood Estates Drive. Mr. Varnon.
Yes, sir. This is an agreement for professional engineering services, subsurface exploration, analysis, and recommendations for the road repair.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
I'll make that motion. Thank you, Doug.
That's a motion by Councilman Roberts. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm sorry?
Second.
I'm sorry, second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Item C, consent agenda. They range from minutes of the previous meeting, bill listings, travel and training, and of course PO for our recycle bins from Bush Systems that may be coming shortly online. So is there a member of council wanted to approve the consent agenda as printed?
So moved.
That's a motion by Councilman Hinton. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Roberts. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. McCullum.
Councilman Roberts.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hinton.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
And Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 9, reports of special committees to council. If any member of council or the mayor's office had a report coming from their respective committee.
President Logan, I don't have any information, but we'll have more information coming out of the projects committee meeting this coming Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So if anyone would like to attend, that would be 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning.
All right, 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. Thank you, Councilman.
Mm-hmm.
Any further business or reports of special committees to council? All right, moving on. Item 10, public hearings. We have none on the agenda. Item 11, city administrator's business. Mr. McCullum.
I have no business, but I do have a comment. Your staff has been working diligently on the coronavirus issue. I want to commend them for their hard work and their patience as we have developed what we think is a strategy moving forward, one that is not one that's built around trying to instill confidence within the community and not panic and fear. We know that the services that we provide as a city are essential. We know that we can't not collect garbage. We've got to provide sewer. We've got to do these necessary and to ensure that safe drinking water is provided. And I want to commend them for the hard work that they're doing. We've developed a plan moving forward as it relates to potential scheduling and flexibility within the staff as we move forward. And in some respects, we're fortunate in that this week was spring break week, so most folks had already planned. A lot of schools statewide were just now letting out or plan to let out this coming Wednesday. but we will be dealing with it going forward. The only unanticipated was the closing of daycare. But at this point, I think we've got it pretty much in hand. We're going to continue to work hard and diligently to provide the services that our citizens expect.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Item 12, departmental business. We have none on the agenda. Item 13, public comment. I do know I see Mr. Ward McFarland, and I've spoken to Councilman Roberts. So, Councilman, I appreciate you allowing us to kind of bend the council's ear. I think through retail, that's possible. But I did want to make mention for the record. Ms. Heather Deal sent something to council. Councilman Davis will handle that through his normal channels as council. I think you had mentioned we want to make sure that Councilman Davis reaches out to Ms. Deal and also Mr. Stephen Strickland. So for the record, they've asked for their comments to be placed in the record. And again, but Councilman Davis will engage Ms. Deal and Mr. Strickland personally in regards to their concerns that were brought to his attention. So again, I wanted to make that for the record at the request. But I do know we have one more citizen. If it pleases Mayor and Council, and Councilman Roberts, thank you so much for allowing him to do. I know he was trying to get on our agenda. So, Ward, I'll give you the floor, if you would, if you come up and state your name and address for the record.
Thank you, Council. My name is Ward McFarland. My address is 846 Pembroke Lane in Tuscaloosa. Here today, I'm honored to be here today representing developer KB Patel, who is right now sitting out in his car in our parking lot because he called me about 30 minutes before I got here and reported that he had the sniffles. And, you know, I thought maybe better safe than sorry. We left him out there, but he's here in spirit. What his plan is to bring a new hotel to the city of Northport. We've been working on for a long time. Some of you on the council and Mayor, you have been with me before. We've talked about this, but it is a combination extended stay, regular hotel. It's a 3-star concept called Mainstay Suites and Sleep Inn. Sleep Inn, most of you remember, is a franchise we had in Tuscaloosa for many years. We lost it a number of years ago just due to attrition, and we're trying now to bring that product back to the market, and we'd like to do it in Northport. It is something I've been encouraging him to do for a long time. He's ready, I think, to pull the trigger on this. I do want you to be aware of what the project is very briefly, and then I've got some business I want to discuss as far as an incentive request. If you would go ahead and go next slide. This is what the product looks like on the inside. You've got regular hotel rooms that are a sleep in, which you can see on the top right of the screen. You've also got extended stay rooms. Now, extended stay got kind of a bad name for a long time as a construction worker's paradise, so to speak, because they do have refrigerators and stoves. But the truth is, it's the hottest item in hotel development right now. And it's something Northport does not have. There's not really enough of it in the Tuscaloosa-Northport market together. We'd like to bring some more of it here. You can see a typical lobby registration rendering. This is the location where we're trying to put the product in. It's a part of the 1871 development west of Lowe's. You can see it would have an exit point on Airport Road. That would be the only point of access other than to the lot just to the north, which long-term we hope is a restaurant of some type. Go ahead. This is what the site plan looks like. We have made sure that it complies with all the Northport code. Everything should be good now on the parking ratio. Now that we've got a change in that, we've got 88 parking spaces provided. It would be a 4-story product. Most of the prototypes that I'm showing you pictures of today are 3. This would be 4. Go ahead, next slide. Okay, so about half the room mix would be extended stay, about half of it would be standard. Discuss the entrance of and the 4 stories. Take about 12 to 15 months for construction and furnishing the product and getting it ready for opening once we break ground, which would be later this year. It is a local developer. KB Patel is the developer. He was the one who developed the Econo Lodge in Northport back in the 90s, so he has developed here before. We've got a local engineer, and we've got a very experienced architect that's done literally hundreds of these developments, and a contractor who himself is a developer and built the hotel you see pictured on this slide in Meridian, Mississippi. This is exactly the product we're talking about building here. Next slide. So what are the benefits to Northport? It's an underserved hotel market, 3-star product, which you said you wanted. It would be Northport's first extended stay hotel, the first hotel proposed in the western quarter. So this is, he's taking a risk, doing this, being the first one here. It does give your citizens, family, friends, higher quality options if they're coming to town to visit. And more importantly, by having them in a hotel in Northport, it keeps their spending in Northport. It also encourages further development of that western corridor, because having people that are staying in that western area, again, gives more incentives for retailers to locate there. Big thing, I know nobody in Northport likes to talk about things in Tuscaloosa, but the fact is, right next door, you've got an airport that they're trying to expand. You've got an industrial park right next door. And what you're doing by putting a hotel here is capturing the tax revenue from those, from people staying to go to those, both the airport and the industrial park, and you're keeping it Northport, and again, keeping them shopping in Northport while they're here, because a lot of people that stay at this hotel are going to be a part of that. Finally, of course, you've got lodging, property, and school taxes and jobs, both construction jobs, and it should have about 20 employees long-term. Next slide. So there is a delta or a difference between the projected and actual cost of the project, and the developer is requesting a rebate of half the lodging taxes up to $750,000, or 10 years expires, whichever occurs first. That would be competitive with similar requests that you granted in the past, and based on the tax revenue projected, and I think it's a good return on Northport's investment. Or I say it's an investment, it's money you don't really have yet, but that's $4.9 million benefit, which you're going to see in the next slide, versus a $750,000 outlay. And I know this is kind of hard to read. It's small, but and I was thinking I had a little bit bigger screen to show you, but hopefully the council can see it on theirs. But it's where we've calculated basically the benefit, the financial benefit to Northport of the project. And I hope it makes sense to you. I'm not going to go through it in detail, but unless I get asked to, I'm happy to answer any specific questions about it. And that's the end of my presentation, but I'm available for questions that anybody has.
I know Councilman Hogg, you're chairman of retail. I didn't know if you had want to start it out real quick in terms of the presentation that Mr. McFarland has given us.
I do know that the retail committee has seen this before, had some information. Glad to put a face with a name now.
Right.
So, what is the time frame that you said on here? I was writing down notes.
About 12 to 15 months from the time we start construction until the time we are open, fully fixtured, and all that.
Okay. Now, I do know that council has been made aware of this, and I know that there has been some conversation on getting some additional information together. So,
Haven't provided anything I can.
I haven't seen all the information yet, but I know we'll, from a retail committee and council, I'm sure we'll review and see what we need to do in order to try to make this marriage between yourself and the city. So.
Okay.
But I do appreciate you coming tonight. I had no idea you were going to be here, so.
Okay, all right.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ward, one more thing. I appreciate you coming up again. I do think it's a good product, in my opinion. I just want to make sure I kind of articulate the next steps would be for mayor and council, obviously, to kind of take the information. If we need more,
Sure.
We'll make sure we reach out to you fairly quickly so we can look at some internal stuff that we may have being presented to us as we speak, so we can kind of compare numbers and try to figure out what's the medium point, so to speak, and what your ask is versus what we need to do to make the project move forward. So
Okay.
I really like the project, in my personal opinion, because of the jobs. But again, we got a little work to do, and I appreciate council allowing us to come up and give us a good presentation from your office. But next step is we can get the mayor's office involved and our city administrator's office to move forward with some more in detail talks with you and your client.
Okay.
That would be
Great.
the absolute next step. And of course, we've got some information internally that'll helpful. That's going to be helpful.
If
And
they have
Jay,
to, let me
Harlan.
know. Yes, sir.
I ask this, is this comparable to a Comfort Inn?
It's the same flag or the same brand, choice. It is a slightly different concept than a Comfort. It might be, one tick lower on the scale, I guess, than a Comfort, but it's very comparable.
the next thing I wanted to ask was, I mean, I appreciate you putting this out there. I mean, most of the time, these things are not put out in the public eye, as in tonight. I'm sure that kind of helped with not having much public here, but
Makes it easier, right?
the throwing that out there, is there certain, I know obviously you have the sleep in mainstay brands on the hook, so to speak, or you wouldn't be presenting this tonight.
Correct.
What is the time frame for you in working with them? Is this something that's needing
Basically,
pretty quickly, or?
We had a meeting 3 days ago,
Okay.
and we've got the flag. The choice representative was actually in town 3 days ago, and it's
Okay.
almost, had it not been for the virus epidemic, he would have been here tonight. But